Once there was a brother and a sister. Their mother had died and they lived with their father and their stepmother. Their stepmother was always mean to them, and their father was always busy with work. So one day, the brother took the sister's hand and said, "Our stepmother hits us every day. We only have hard old bread to eat. Even the dog under the table has better food than us. Oh, if only our mother was alive, she would look after us. But we have to look after ourselves now. We must leave this place." So they left their house and traveled the whole day through fields. When it rained, the sister said, "The sky is crying with us." In the evening, they arrived at a forest, tired and hungry from their long journey. They climbed into a tree and fell asleep. The next morning, the brother said, "Sister, I'm thirsty. I hear a stream in the distance. Let us go and drink." So the brother took the sister's hand and they went to the stream. However, the children's stepmother had found out that they left. She was a witch and wanted everyone to be as sad and cruel as her. So she cast a spell on all the water in the forest. The brother was about to drink from the stream, but then the sister heard the stream whisper, "Glug, glug, glug, glug. If you drink this water, you will become a tiger." The sister cried, "Brother, do not drink, or you will become a tiger and eat me up." So the brother did not drink, even though he was very thirsty. "I will wait until the next stream." They walked and finally they arrived at another stream. This time, the sister heard the stream whisper, "Glug, glug, glug, glug. If you drink this water, you will become a wolf." So the sister cried, "Please, dear brother, do not drink. You will become a wolf and eat me up." So the brother did not drink and said, "I will wait until the next stream, but then I must drink because I'm really very thirsty." They kept walking and came to a third stream. This one whispered, "Glug, glug, glug, glug. If you drink this water, you will become a deer." The sister said, "Dear brother, do not drink, or you will become a deer and run far away from me." But the brother had already drank from the water, and he quickly changed into a deer. The sister cried and cried over her brother, and the deer cried as well. Finally, she said, "Don't worry, little deer. I will never leave you." She had a gold chain around her neck. She took it off and put it around the deer's neck. They kept walking and went deeper into the forest. After walking a long, long way, they found a wooden house, which was empty. "We can live here," said the sister. So they started living in the house. Every day, the sister went out and found food in the forest for both of them, and the deer played happily in the grass. At night, they lay together in a little house and slept. If her brother had not been a deer, it would have been a lovely life. They kept living in the forest like this for many years. However, there was a young king who lived nearby. He liked to hunt, and he had not hunted in this forest before. One day he decided he wanted to hunt there. So he went with all his men. They brought many dogs into the forest, and they blew loud hunting horns. The dear brother heard the horn and desired to join the hunt. "Oh, dear sister, please let me go hunt. I cannot stay here any longer." The sister did not want him to go, but he asked so much. Finally, she let him go, but she said, "Come back here at night. I will lock the door, so when you arrive, knock on the door and say, 'Little sister, let me in.' Then I will know it is you." So the deer jumped out and played in the forest. The king and his men saw the beautiful animal and chased after him, but they could not catch him because he was too fast. When it was dark, the deer went to the house, knocked on the door, and said, "Little sister, let me in." The sister opened the door and they slept together. The next morning, the hunt began again. Once more, the deer heard the hunting horse and felt a strong desire to join them. "Little sister, I must go." The sister sighed, but she opened the door and said, "Now remember to come back at night and say the same words." When the king and his men saw the deer again, they chased after him, but again he was too fast for them. They chased him all day, and finally they surrounded him. One of them hurt his foot, so he went slowly to the house. One of the hunters followed him and heard him saying, "Little sister, let me in." The hunter told this to the king, and the king smiled and said, "Tomorrow we'll hunt again." When the sister saw that the deer was hurt, she was terrified. She washed his foot and put leaves around it and said, "Lie down, dear brother, and rest." The deer was not seriously hurt, so the next morning he felt fine again. Once more, when he heard the hunting horns, he said, "I cannot stay inside. I must go with them. They won't catch me today." The sister cried and said, "You will be killed. They will kill you, and I will be all alone here in the forest. You can't go." "If I stay here, then I will die of desire. When I hear the hunting horns, I desire to go out so much. I feel like I will jump out of my skin." The sister saw that she could not stop him, so she opened the door and watched the deer run away happily. When the king saw him, he said to his hunter, "Follow him all day until night falls. Do not hurt him." When the sun had gone down, the king and his men followed the deer to the little house. Before the deer could knock, the king's men caught him and covered his mouth. The king went and knocked on the door and said, "Little sister, let me in." The door opened and the king went in, and there he saw a beautiful young woman. The sister shouted when she saw the kings instead of a deer, but the king took her hand and said, "Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you. Will you come with me to my castle and be my dear wife?" The sister has been so lonely all these years. This king looked kind, but she did not know if she could trust him. So she said, "I will only come if the deer can come too. He must come with me, and you cannot hurt him." "Of course," said the king. "He will stay with you forever, and you will have much food and drink." Then deer came, jumping in, and the sister took him by the golden chain, and they went out of the little house. The king rode with her to his castle, and they had a great wedding. She became queen, and they lived happily for a long time. Everyone loved the deer and looked after him, and he jumped happily around the castle gardens. Meanwhile, the children's stepmother, who had cast a spell on the forest, heard of the wedding. "How can it be?" she said. "Surely the brother turned into a tiger and ate his sister, or surely he became a deer and the hunters killed him." In truth, the brother and sister's happiness did not change her life at all, but she still felt a great jealousy. "I'll show them," she said. Her own daughter was very ugly and only had one eye. When she heard about the wedding, she claimed to her mother, saying, "I want to be queen." This gave the stepmother an idea. The queen and her brother deer lived happily in the king's castle. A few months later, the queen had a baby boy. That day, the king was hunting in the forest. The stepmother went to the castle and changed her shape. She made herself look like a servant and went into the queen's bedroom. The queen was exhausted from the birth, and she did not notice that it was not really her servant. "You are so tired," said the stepmother. "Come, I have made a bath for you. It will make you feel much better." "Oh no, I would rather stay in bed," said the queen. No, the water is getting cold. It really will help you. Come." She took the queen to the bathroom and left her in the bed. The queen was so tired that she quickly fell asleep. The stepmother then made a great fire under the bed, shut all the windows and locked the door, so that all the air left the room. When the queen woke up, it was too late, and she died in the bed. The old stepmother took her daughter and dressed her in the queen's clothes. She changed her appearance to look like the queen, but she could not fix her bad eye. If someone saw her missing eye, they would know it wasn't the queen.
Lie down on your side in the bed. The king won't see. He is a stupid man.
The daughter did what her mother said, because she wanted to be queen. In the evening, the king came home and heard about his new son. He was overjoyed. He went to his wife's room to see how she was. The witch saw him and said,
Do not open the curtains. She is very weak. She must be kept in the quiet and the dark.
So the king left and never knew there was a different woman lay in the bed. The baby slept in the nursery, separate from its mother, because the queen was sick. A nurse looked after the baby for her. While the baby and everyone else in the castle slept, the nurse sat awake. She could not sleep. She had a strange feeling in her stomach. The queen had been acting strange since her birth, and whenever the nurse tried to come speak to her, the queen's servant sent her away. When it turned midnight, someone opened the door to the nursery. The nurse sat right up. It was a woman, but she didn't know who, and a stranger. This woman looked dead. Her clothes were burned, and her skin was as white as a ghost. The nurse did not move at all, and the woman did not see her. She went and took the baby out of its bed and fed it. Then she put it back. She also went and stroked the deer, who was lying in the corner. My child and my dear, 3 times I will see, twice more I will come, and then the end must be. Saying this, and she left the room. The next morning, the nurse asked if anyone had come into the castle at night, but nobody had. So the nurse went and told the king about the strange woman and what she said. And he said,
How strange. I must go and watch the child tomorrow night.
So the king waited in the nursery, and again the woman appeared at midnight and said,
My child and my dear, 2 times I will see. Once more I will come, and then the end must be.
She fed the child and stroked the deer, and then left the room. The king was too afraid to say anything. He did not understand. The woman spoke like his wife, but his wife was alive. Yes, she was tired and sick, but the servants were looking after her. The king tried to see his wife the next day, but the witch stopped him and said,
She's far too sick to see. You will have to come back tomorrow.
And then the king had many important things to do and could not see his wife. So in the evening, he went back to the nursery. The burnt woman appeared once more, saying,
My child and my dear, 1 time I will see. This time is now, and now the end must be.
The king was sure now it was his wife. He jumped up and said,
You are my wife.
The woman looked at him for a long time. She was as white as a ghost, but slowly the color returned to her face.
Yes, I am your wife.
The king put his arms around her and felt the life return to her body.
You are strong and well again. But if you are here, who lies in your bed and calls herself the queen?
So she told the king of the bath and how she had died. And they ran to the queen's room. Inside they found the witch and her daughter, talking of riches and a stupid king. When the witch saw the king and his wife, she screamed, and her daughter hid under the doorway.
I will give you 1 chance,
said the king.
Tell me what you have done. She is not the true queen,
the witch said, pointing at the king's wife.
She is a trick.
The true queen is here. The king shook his head.
I gave you a chance and you lied to me. Now you will die in a cruel and painful way.
No, said the real queen.
Too many people have suffered. I have a better idea. They will go and live alone in the forest, just as me and my brother did for so many years.
So the witch and her daughter were sent away to the forest. However, the waters were still under the spell. One day, her daughter drank from a certain stream and turned into a wolf.
You idiot, cried the witch. I told you not to drink from the streams.
But the daughter did not understand her. All she knew was that she was a wolf and she was hungry. The witch tried to run inside the house and hide, but the wolf was too fast and ate her up. So in the end, she died in a cruel and painful way, just like the king had said. As soon as the witch died, her spell broke, and the deer turned back into a human. The brother and sister laughed and hugged, and they were a whole family again. The queen had many children, and they lived happily ever after.